Britt, you said something, and again, sorry to have y'all answering for all the women, but as black women know specifically, and the daughter of a preacher, guys, for Christ's sakes, you poor baby. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Shout out Pops, because he's awesome. Your dad is tight. But
My dad's tight too.
the that pressure that you talk about, married, having kids, all the shit, like have that all set up. When we were speaking about it earlier, it's like, yo, our representations of that aren't abundant. So where is this pressure coming from? Like, I'm trying to figure out where the hell that came from. If we don't if the numbers show it ain't a lot of us that still married, like our at least our elders. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm also divorced. So, like, which was a whole huge set of issues in my family when it happened.
Give you a high five. High five.
Oh, I didn't see the high five. I'm sorry. Don't be mad. So, like, that's why my perspective on a lot of shit relationally is what it is. It's because of where I've existed through. But I think that as much as people may not be religious, you are operating in a society that has utilized Christianity to push a certain narrative and to do a certain thing. So no matter how religious you are or not, you are still abiding under Christian beliefs in this society, and Christian beliefs that have been completely tainted to do exactly what a white man wants them to do. Jesus. And so it's like, yes, women, please shut the fuck up and keep striving to be owned by a man. What? Like, and so when you ask, like, why is that still a thing? It's because that's what we hear all the time. But also, like, as much as I am so, like, I'm very much at a place in my life where it's like, I don't really know if I want to do marriage again. Like, I'm down for life partnership. I don't know if I want to do that specifically, right? But I do go, there is something to be said about specifically the union of black people, because what it also does for us is that it gives us it can give us a better financial footing. Like, I'm looking at the love here, like, I'm looking at the play that I could make a better life, and I'm looking at the legacy.
Hey, this the clip. This the whole episode. We're just gonna leave with that.
I'm not on the mic, and I was just gang of questions, so we can just talk later.
But I also think, and that was a whole other question I had, but we didn't got to go down that route, was, do men believe that women look at legacy as much as they do? I think in our society, men talk about legacy a lot more. So I don't think men really believe, or I don't know, I don't want to speak for men, but I don't know that men think that women care about legacy, not just in birthing a child out of our vagina, but literally our entire legacy of what we're going to be able to hand over to the child we birth or to our grandchildren and things of that nature. So, like, it's as much as I'm like, fuck the system, I go, but black people, like, hey, let's still together though, because we kind of need to get up on this coin.
But I feel like that's a fair stance to have though, because it's systems and not even trying to compete, but completely reimagine and overthrow what we're talking about and what we've been suppressed by and the things we're trying to maneuver through, and it's just a tainted way of living and communicating and trying to attempting to build. And so that legacy question is so dope, is because it is niggas walking around telling themselves, oh, she ain't trying to build like that, but you just fully broke down a union as a business endeavor more than anything. And
it is more than anything. Because what was the point of making it a fucking contract if it wasn't a business deal? Come on. You are signing a contract in our government. It's a business deal from jump.
So
everything is a business deal.
How many women think about legacy, but how many of us collectively understand that part that you're talking about? Like, yo, this is Dame about to renegotiate this summer, fam. I think I get to renegotiate this year. It's like the
and you renegotiate your marriage all the time. Like, there's no way you make it through 40 years of marriage and you don't renegotiate what the fuck y'all doing at least 17, 18 times. Like, it's not, to me, there's no way you've done it that way and have a way that is sustainable and well for both of y'all. If y'all haven't, somebody's suffering. But otherwise, y'all have renegotiated this. But it's literally the most American thing is we are going to fuck some shit up, but guise it in something else and make a shit ton of money off of what we guise it. The wedding industry is wild financially. Absolutely wild. But we're telling y'all are choosing. Y'all are having this beautiful day. It's about you. That's the same shit with America and freedom. We stand for freedom and pledge this shit, but every day we're going to fuck you over and make a shit ton of money off of it and make you believe you're choosing so you feel good about it. Like, what?
Somebody get these women in office, please, in the White House. This is amazing.
I don't want to be there.
What you about to say, G? Mama?
Yeah, nah, she gonna lose all that freedom of speech.
Exactly.
Nah, but I mean, I forgot where we was at. What was the beginning of that? The last thing that you said, like not the last thing, but the last question. What was that again?
It was about legacy.
Oh yeah, the legacy.
And do men believe that women are looking to build legacy in the same way?
Yeah, so I think that's something that it's we're learning as we go with that now, with it being more mainstream. That it's not saying that women to this point weren't looking to not exactly be equal in a relationship or in a union, but look for like business opportunities as well. It's that it wasn't the norm or something that was put out there enough for everyone to even get that part of women, that women did have these ambitions and stuff like that. The only ambitions that we would have saw prior to now would be them doing it on their own and not being able to obtain a man because of their individual ambitions. So that's the narrative that we would have saw up to this point. The new narrative that is now becoming a little bit more norm is the fact that, yes, women and men can both be in a union and both have ambitions and both look to obtain them with the support of the other. You know, that's the new one that we're trying to normalize somehow, some way. So I think that's kind of the thing for me personally for what you were talking about on that as far as like legacy goes. I mean, because we're doing a podcast, I like to keep it in like the, you know, a lot of the examples being super mainstream. But a really large one would be the Jay-Z and Beyonce Family Feud. The idea of you...
That visual is so crazy, bro.
Yeah, but the idea of what it took to get to the point where you put on a pedestal your union, you know what I mean? It would take almost losing everything in order for that to be the case, you know? And now you get to see the full scope of what the possibilities are when both people are operating on that frequency together, as opposed to there being 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or trying to keep up with whatever society norms are, whatever past traumas are, whatever your thought process is on, you know, what a relationship is, when you have children, the changes in bodies, the changing in thoughts, you know, like every couple of years you're a completely different person, so you're constantly evolving, and doing all that in the public eye, you know. So like I think that's a perfect example of what a lot of people, or just what society overall is, like what their example is. So that's why I thought that was a very important one, because as we've talked about transparency already, at the point of becoming fully transparent is at the point that you truly start to live. And that's what happened in that particular union, was that transparency was on the table. So now we can be...
They finessed 2 solo albums, a collab album, hella tours, and just it's
ran it up.
It's a play.
Ran it the fuck up.
everybody go on relationship goals and it's like, fam, are you ready to do business? Or
are
no?
you ready to do it or not? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna show you what we had at our, what the type of capacity that we actually did have, but we're going to monetize it.
My sister gonna shoot you the fair one in the elevator. You survive, we good.
But I think that's why they were not allowed, that they were gonna run it up regardless because of who they are, but like
Together.
but also that was the moment where I can say for not all women, but for me, and I think a lot of women, Beyonce became a human.
Yeah.
As opposed to an idol. And that was going to sell her more shit ever than anything else that she was, because women,
The play.
What?
Beyonce got cheated on too, nigga. It's lit. Run it up.
Oh my God.
Ivy Park everything. I got it.
Lemonade was wild. It was wild.
How do you, as women, then how do you approach the conversation of legacy? Is because you got hella shit going on.
Thank you.
So the conversation for legacy, you can't really even start any other place than like, yo, this is the trajectory, fam. You with it or no? Mm-hmm. Like, is it? Because L started with like, nah, the new shit is like, hey, we both can be on it and support one another. It's not you stay at home, stay in the kitchen. It's not it ain't. But for as much as we think it isn't that anymore, there's a lot of niggas outside that completely are like become like paralyzed by the idea of being in a union with a woman who's running it up for real. Like they can't function.
Most.
Yeah. So how do you maneuver? Has that been your experience? Is it rampant? Do you see the shift happening? Like, I'm just curious, because in our minds it's still, we still know a lot of men who may as well be the Flintstones for real. You know, like it's crazy. But
yeah, I'm gonna go back to like my name is like Gatsata Malkamu, so it's like Gasita Malkamu, right? And that on its own means like the lineage of my father, right? It's like the image of my father.
So hey fam, look, this is where we start.
Right.
Like,
You know,
and
it's so interesting because my mother chose my name, not my father. Wow. And so I've always known that I had to, like, that African proverb, like, I stand on the shoulders of. Like, like, when you ask me that question, my mind is going to, like, we're in this country alone. It's literally me and my dad, like, and my little brother. But, like, we came to this country together. I don't got no blood aunties, no uncle. Like, the way people got folks, like, I got my community, I got my tribe that we got here. But in reality, it's me and my dad and my little brother. So me thinking about lineage, it's huge, right? It's a big thing because my parent had to leave his whole entire lineage, his whole entire ancestry to get here. So me having hella shit going on is because I'm the first one to have to bear those things, right? Like, I'm the first one to have to be able to forget going to college and all this stuff. It's like, I had to learn how to, register for my own health insurance. I had to learn how to, what was PG&E. Like, we had to navigate those things together. So yeah, like that's on that part. But as partnership, I absolutely, that's why I was single for so long, is because I do got hella shit going on. Yeah. And a lot of, it's not just like the males I've been in a relationship with, just even community members. And it's unfortunate, but they get intimidated by that, right? It's like, how could you still be here and be cool and
that's not even gender specific for you. That's like, oh, wow.
It's like, we could be cool. How are you sitting here kicking it, chopping it up, whatever, but you can go and be in a whole business meeting, running a whole institution, doing all these different things. Like, how do you code switch and navigate the world the way that you do? And understanding, and it's hard in a partnership because for a partner who doesn't stand on their own, they think that you're about to be that same dean at school that you are at home. I'm not about to come here and navigate our life that same way. I need to be able to come home and, like, unpack, unwind, right? And until you could find that as somebody who is headstrong, as somebody who is independent, you're not going to be successful. So, personally, I don't know, some people, they like to be able to manage their office and manage their home the same way. But when you find a partner who's equally yoked, right? It's like, some days I am going to be on my shit. Some days I am going to navigate our household like it's a business. But on some days also, I need you to navigate our household like a business, and I need to be able to sit back and know that you got it.
With that,
and that's a defense mechanism. Like if you need to navigate the household the exact same way as like what you do outside the household, a lot of that has to do with the defenses.
Control freak.
Control is the defenses on both sides. I mean, for men and for women. Yeah. And going back to like the initial part of the question, men I guess now are having a little bit of a harder time with like the gender role in the household, with women being more and more ambitious about things and coming out and being like that way from the beginning. Like they've been doing their thing. It's just a matter of the acceptance of it and the conversation around it in order for it to be normal, and then that being the case, it's harder for men to understand because what we lead with is finances. And if you don't have the financial leg up, or if it's equal within the household, or if it's neck and neck in the household, like it's sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes even, you know what I mean? Like if it's like that, then what do you have? What do you have to contribute as a man? And I think that's where a lot of the confusion takes place if you aren't fully secure within your own situation and also within your relationship. You know what I mean? Like that's all things that you just don't know how to deal with, because I think a lot of times you try to utilize whatever the financial background is, utilize that in order to say whatever you want, as opposed to my nigga, like, say whatever the fuck you want.
A variable of control.
Yeah, like say whatever you're gonna say anyway. Like somebody needs to hear that if that's what you truly feel. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be a reason for you to be able to speak your mind, and then don't utilize that financial background. Don't utilize that in order to just be able to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? I think that's where a lot of that confusion takes place at, is just like, what is your position at that point? Because you want to kind of be a drill sergeant for some fucking reason, and, I don't think that's how it needs to go, but, to each their own.
But that's also why I think it's easier for a woman to be in a relationship with a man who's in the come up than a man to be in a relationship with a woman while she's on her come up. Like, at least for a woman, like, when you're on your come up and when they see that you surpassing them, ego comes into play hard. Because it's like you're no longer that submissive woman or whatever the time that you had that you once did. Whereas in a lot of relationships that I see, it's a lot of women don't get into these stable relationships nowadays, at least in our generation, until they're on. Like once you guys, whatever, it's like a man knows what he's walking into, and it's like, do I want to touch that territory or not? Is she too powerful for me or not?
I feel like men are afforded a choice in it, where it's kind of just an accepted norm. Like, like he grinding, he gonna be up at some point,
Whereas for women, it's like, what? Like to me at least, it's like I'm gonna love my dude regardless. Yeah. When you on your lowest, if you finna, whatever, like, I'm about to watch you on your come up, and I'm going to be in that process with you. Now, sometimes they leave you once they up. That's on them, But it's rare for me to see, at least in my, tribe community, where I've seen a man, like, stick with his woman when she went from, like, literally having nothing to, like, now she's on one.
What?
Oh, I don't I haven't had that. I haven't seen that experience specifically, and that's just me. But I think that it really depends on who you are, and I mean this separate from what you just said. It depends on who you are and what you want, because I do believe that there are still women who want things that are a lot more traditional. I believe that there are men who still want things that are very traditional, and that's where they want to land. But I also believe that there are a lot of women out there who are like myself, where and maybe this changes, right? Because I can only speak for where I am in life right now. Maybe 10 years from now, this will be different. But I am here with a purpose. And that right now overrides everything. So if you're not coming here to align with my purpose, and I hope I can align with yours, then it's not going to work. Like, because that to me supersedes any and every part of this existence if it's not going to allow me to reach whatever my purpose is. And to me, right now in my life, I look at it as I could not partner with somebody who did not have a purpose that in some way aligned. It doesn't mean we're doing the same thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it does mean like what we're trying to overall accomplish has to be roughly in the same vein of like what we're trying to do. Yeah. And because I can't see with what I know I'm going to have to do to accomplish my purpose, I can't see it going any other way because it's not going to be an easy task.